same briefcase, same room. And I'm getting a cold or flu. So I'm not trying to brainwash anybody. Simply put, when the Queen was here, it was 0 to 1. That's 0. It's 1 for everybody else. Queen's passed away. I know that.
Oh, God. Oh, shit. Man, I should get a job.
Look at that.
Fuck yeah.
Eh? In the wall. She's calling my bluff. Yeah, the Hells Angels BC, they don't want to remember 03 to 2010. While the Hells Angels all over the world remember those days. And I'm back in the game now. Except they don't want to be giving me a piece of any action. Because they don't even talk about it. That's how fucking scared of me they are. And so this been kicked right up to somebody who's not scared of me because I protect him from somebody in California named Mr. Bacon. There's 2 of them, powerful men. One is sleeping, and he's sleeping so wonderfully, and he's a tough bugger because I wouldn't dare bother him when he's sleeping. And I wouldn't. Because why would I do that? I wouldn't bother a man when he's sleeping. And this here is a interesting book. This book I got from, this is a different book I got. This book I got from the dollar store. And that's the only place I ever got a book, from the dollar store. They're cheap. And this here is something that I keep, wonderful things in. Used to be drugs, but I'm simply broke. I'm not concerned about anything in the goddamn. I have an LG chocolate somewhere, is it? And this phone here must be for historical purposes, probably, because it's probably still in the evidence locker. And one place I know that doesn't take bribes is Cameras BC, and they don't. And as far as I can tell, this is where we make a fucking stand, because we're making a stand against violence and all the bad things in organized crime. Because they're simply put, when I'm driving out of town in that Monte Carlo, there's nobody out. Because if they fear this man, well, some women do. Some police don't like him. And, I'm not going to do any violence. So I'm just not. And I don't know why I didn't switch over to camera. And they call my bluff. So somebody tell me why. Walter Static sees red laser. He's trying to sleep. And he's about to throw up in his dreams. And he had a bad dream. He was sleeping. Or maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I never met him. And don't care to. So he must be watching all the contact. And somebody's feeling sick. And somebody wants to be back here, but she's watching and she's hungover and she's drinking and she had a party night. And where those 2 girls end up, wherever they wanted, but they think they're protected by me. Well, they are protected by me. I don't hit women. I never have. But once in my life, if I ever hit a woman, I destroyed Chrissy's reputation, because it is destroyed. But she's doing things that are very not okay. Like simply, I have no feelings for her at all, because she's a strange, she's weird. She's simply seeing her dad, Mike Grimm, still. And that's her real dad. He's her stepfather. So, and she never visits the Hayden household anyways. Sherry Hayden. Well, McGee's there too. And, as he's trying to get a hold of her. And he's why is this stronger? He doesn't do that no more.
Hey, can I have the OR, please?
Are you looking, like, do you have an appointment, or?
Well, they've been trying the past couple days, and
Hello there. So we're streaming again. Because I won't use your real name. Because you don't get bothered by anybody. Because you're simply you. And you're a smooth criminal, right? You're a smooth criminal, right? Oh, you must be a smooth criminal. That's a song. Well, it is a song, but there's no such thing as a smooth criminal. Because you got a record. And so do I. So neither of us are fucking smooth criminals. And, well, according to my CPIC, I've only done, this before Cliff gets awake and he's scared to go to sleep, and so is Mr. Bacon in California. Oh, Valak there, he wants to say something. Because Valak's got it all figured out, does he? Valak, you're a fucking retard on feet. And I don't like you one bit. You haven't called me yet. Is this some sort of power play? Where Valak was supposed to call me? Or no, Mr. Bacon says nobody call him until he calls. And well, Mr. Bacon may be high powered. He may be real high powered in California, but this is British Columbia. So what the fuck's he doing thinking that he owns the whole province or the whole country, and he gives this province to Cliff to manage? Because that's a little bit of problem for anybody who has logic in their mind. And I'm sitting here making content on a different account. Some people have found it, some people haven't. And I don't know anything about this man, really. I know he has somebody's passport and somebody's phone, and he doesn't want to admit to it. So, content creation's on, and why my CPIC? Well, it's an interesting picture because I look sad and lonely. It's like my passport picture, and I pull them off. I'm a beauty when I need to be. And, well, nobody knows who I know. And no, I wouldn't. That's Valak thinking that. Because Valak's trying to read my mind, and he's thinking that I know somebody there's no way to know, because they strategized in a closed door sit down. And Valak has been a busy beaver trying to predict things that don't happen, because it never happened. And Valak thinks something happened that didn't happen because we never met. I'm thinking of Jumbo, because from back in the day, he was a man that kept a razor bladed head because he simply liked to look that way. Because he's a man that had an Anderson. He was Mr. Anderson on his apartment, because it said Mr. Anderson. That was his fake alias. It had nothing to do with Jesse, because he doesn't even go by that on Facebook. But I'm not in any trouble I can't get out of. No, I'm in somebody's place, and he's got a rap sheet. What he does for work. Well, I'm not fucking stupid, but I'm not gonna beat it out of him either, because that wouldn't be nice. And he's here with content streaming, so he's simply gonna pull out something that's ready for it. It's one of these. And I do content creation. I do it like this. I do it all. It's fun and funny games. I could do this at any criminal's house in the fucking world, and they probably wouldn't mind. But I'm not in good with all of it. Because there's some in Tijuana that want me fucking dead for saying something bad about their jefe. Well, good for them, because I apologized to that man right after, and he simply wants to hold a grudge, because he thinks British Columbia is his too. And well, what's the difference between pink turf and dope turf? Nobody owns it completely, so he can have a opinion, but he doesn't have a fucking opinion with me, so that's fair. Because he don't own a fucking thing in British Columbia other than the private property that he holds in his name. Wherever that is, I don't fucking know or care. Because there's a game of risk going on in this city, and it's all based on what I say. And somebody is not saying anything, and I'm not dropping his name for nothing, because I didn't ask him about that. I never disrespected him in person, not once. So, this thing internet security going on I got internet security called 1920-bit encryption, and this is a 6 prongs. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 12 prongs is a nice product, and there's 2, 4, 6. It's a 12 and 6. Well, it's not what it's called. It's called I don't know what this is called. It's I don't know what they call it. I should know what it's called, but it's just it makes more. It takes one outlet, one part of an outlet, and turns it into 6, which is completely safe. And the breaker will go if it's not safe. I know that, and somebody taught me that, and Well, simply put, somebody in California is having nightmares, and it's one of your uncles, and it's the one that owns the flagship something. It's trivia. I'm not trying to hurt the family's reputation. No, I'm trying to get along with the man. He simply wants to get better sleep. What the fuck am I doing in his dreams? And why is he seeing a rattlesnake? Because he's a war vet. And he never did ask it, but he's a war vet, and I respect that. And he doesn't need to worry about nothing. Because he just want to call somebody that was in his life and simply talk to him, because he probably does. And he's stubborn and cantankerous, and he's a great grandpa to Montana and Crystal. And this is true, or do I have the wrong brother in California? And that's right, man. Well, I have no intentions on either of your great grandchildren, because simply put, that family ran me through the shit house. I'm still here trying to talk about you or get to know you. And while we could get going on what happened on that historically, well, prominent motorhome, because it was. And well, I was framed up on that by Montana. She broke the fucking window in the front. 2 men entered on the back with a machete and a bat. Hey, I'm still here. Don't see me complain about that. No one's ever done that to you. Well, you're you. And that was set up by, well, Montana. She wanted a parts check. Well, she must have parts checked her way into, being someone I care for. And nobody wants Montana to commit suicide, because she did already. And I saved her until the paramedics got there, and then they saved her. And that's fucking true. That happened on that RV, and it did. This was before she came back and broke a fucking window out of it. The front window on the passenger side. She broke it with something, because I tried to sound a certain way when I took a hat off her head, and then they broke the fucking window in the back, because she's got love street level in Kamloops, but she doesn't have any fucking say, because she's a prostitute, or she's got a boyfriend, he's a drug dealer, and she's not in Kamloops anymore. If she's here, she barely talks to me on Facebook. And your other granddaughter, well, she knows me to be awesome, great granddaughter, sorry, because I won't sell her any methamphetamine, and I won't. And she was going to be pimped out by Montana and put on fentanyl by Montana, but I stopped that from happening. And this is all when on an RV that was summer, and now somebody's in school, and well, good for her. Good for her, because she's still in school, and that's a positive, because she would have been pimped out by somebody from Port Coquitlam. But Fraser stopped that in the tracks, because he talked to somebody, and somebody talked to somebody else, or Fraser made sure that man never came back to that RV. And that's not the river. Jesus H. Christ. And and I'm not mad at the 2 men that hopped on that RV, no, because I was detained. And the kicker is Montana was there, and she said I assaulted her. I didn't lay a hand on her fucking head. And she still didn't go to jail because she did nothing wrong. I don't blame her. She simply did it for somebody in California. One of 2 brothers, one of which is probably alive. And, well, I wonder who that was. And I'm alive and well. I've changed locations. And I'm breathing. And I'm not chopped up with a bat or a machete. Because one little thing, I didn't even get a scar. He must have hit me on the whatever finger this is. And it hit me on the side of the knuckle right there. I showed that once. And, well, who do you think I thought it was when it happened? Because you double-crossed me, so I got you back for something that I didn't say at all. Because you don't say sorry when you're in the mafia business. Because somebody in California isn't. And he's not a lord. He never fucking will be. And this would hurt if it was under your ass. And there's smoke in the cookhouse. Because I'm challenging you for your leadership role with the Hells Angels. And what the fuck are you going to do about it? Because he's watching right now. I guarantee it. He has his computer hacked with his Indo-Canadian buddy there, who they talk frequently on encrypted cell phone calls. Or on a landline. Oh, they got rid of landlines. Because encryptions are as good as the supercomputer you got. And you guys were trying to build one in Kamloops, so I stopped that in its fucking track. I know this would hurt under his fucking nose hairs. I'm not going to do that to him because he's a friend. Well, at least he says he's a friend. And when I leave here, he's just not going to open the door to me again. What if I take his fucking keys? I'm not going to do that, but he's a friend. So, and somebody's involved. Well, he shouldn't be because I didn't involve him at all. And he isn't involved at all. He's involved in me making content creation because I simply do it in the B suite on a property. That's it. And somebody's been caught trying to frame me up again. And this is now the drugging. What hasn't happened is he hasn't drugged me and put me in the psych ward because Guy is being drugged by Sherry in the water jug. And figure that one out. And Guy doesn't need to worry. It's just brainwash shit. It makes you so brainwashed that because I let you two talk in California and you're promising him that I'll be killed by a cop soon enough. Is that what you just said to Guy? Because that's what Mr. Bacon is trying to have happen up here. And Mr. Bacon has lost the fucking plot completely because I'm not hostile towards cops at all. I never have been. And I remember being detained this summer and I didn't realize those stickers were there. I didn't realize must have been the old detachment at some point. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that till I was sitting there having a water because I was detained and released. My cat was fine. And he's in a cage right here. And, well, Wayne Astor's not here, and I don't blame anybody in that goddamn RCMP because I didn't say their name in vain. And this is a Kamloops issue, this Wayne Astor murder, or suspected murder, because I wasn't there. I know a picture from a goddamn newspaper article on the internet because I looked. I seen a trike there. The trike wasn't damaged. So I know somebody who owned a piece of property on Saddleback Drive, or he's still owner there, or he rents it out. Well, it's an interesting spot because that overlooks that bridge perfectly. I know another man who's an Indian male. Well, he's from India, and he's a male from India. So, and in Canada, we have Canadian Indians. They're males from Canada, and they're First Nations. We have a problem in this country with a man from Lower Sahali and somebody named Bye, and they both in position to film that. One of them did. If not, one of them pretended to be somebody, and well, he up and moves, I win, and I'm not going over there. So he up and moves, I win, and he up and moves, and I win. And you can't have your Indo gangs in Canada anymore. You got to leave completely. Take them all with you. Because I was seeing military age males in Kamloops in the summer when I was out on foot, and they were ready for fighting. And who are they fighting? They ain't fighting me. Nope, but they're pissed off I ain't killed yet. Because I'm speaking sound logic, but Valinsky was designed for a certain reason by men who trained him, because he was a spy and a good one. And I don't know that for a fact because I haven't seen any files on him. I don't know anybody who keeps files on a man like that. I'm taking a guess. Stab in the dark. Because if Valinsky was here, he'd shoot me. Without a fucking doubt. Because he's the hottest spy there ever was. As far as heat goes, he can't do a fucking thing, but he's moved off my hood. Well, there's a for sale sign there and it says sold. So I beat him already. Because he's not living on my hood anymore. If he is, he knows the person he sold it to. Or they're quiet people and they don't live there anymore. I don't know. I have a feeling that he knows who he sold it to, because if he's a BC patch kind of person, which he probably is, but they're honoring his patch rather than me sell small bag dope, because somebody in California doesn't get a fucking say around here, and that's a torch that would hurt under anyone's ass whiskers, and well, it would, and he's thinking how he's gonna kill me now. Because he can't think of it when he's listening to me. I'm not on Guy's property. So what the fuck are you doing talking to my father in your mind? Because Sherry's poisoning him in the water jug. And it's simply something from Pat Haynes because Mom's still having an affair. Or Pat Haynes is just giving her poison to put in the water jug to get rid of Guy. It's not going to get rid of him. It makes him brainwashed because they want you in the family, Guy. No, they don't. You're not in a fucking family. You're my relative. You're my son. You're my dad. I'm your son. Mom's your significant other, and you two are goose and gander, I'm telling you. And that's and where's Sydney, a girl that I could date? Well, she's simply not here. And this man's a known something as a guest. And yeah, he's not sure where I'm at because he's never been here. And it's a new suite. So So I'm having a hard time knowing because nobody knows where this is. Because unless they saw me on closed circuit TV or they have access to an internet code that grants them permission to get on their own surveillance. And that's a family, people. They have relatives and significant others and all this. I know a man by the first name because I knew Sean Duff when he lived in the suite down the hall. I tried to get him out of here. I tried to get him a place. He's still homeless. Why? I don't know, but I know his money, his family has money, and I cared for him when nobody else did. And I did that. And when Nathan was locked away in jail, nobody gave a shit about Sean. They pushed him around like none other. Now nobody pushes Sean around anymore because I stuck up for him. Somebody didn't kick him out because he was squatting, and I tried to. And I got into business last February, and he was moved out sometime after that. He eventually moved out. And then the man that's living there now is still squatting, from what I hear. And I didn't fucking make either of them squat. Jesus Christ. Those two squatted on their own. And I'm in a building where I could help move Sean out. But Sean won't listen to reason. Because Sean won't listen to reason. And I simply don't have a t-shirt on. It's a hoodie. And
Tell me what to do, man.
and he is 65 to 70, somewhere's in the middle. And when I looked on the internet, when I was over at a woman's place where I was supposed to have a place to stay, and I do have a place to stay if I cut Guy right out of my life completely. But there's simply the issue of the cat, which is in a carrying cage here, and Vernon is in the RV, and he's peacefully sleeping because the heater's on. It's a fucking oil. It's a heater with the oil in it. It plugs into the wall, and it's a certain time of heat. Somebody can't think of it because she's watching this too, and she's caught red-handed because she's the one that's causing trouble, and she caused a lot of trouble in my life because she stole a work phone from me, which amounted to nothing because nobody wanted to work for fucking King or buy drugs off him anyways, because that's an alias of a man I have an alias called Peasant for. Because he's calling himself king at the wrong time in history. Because I don't think he's a peasant. That's just an alias. So, why the fuck is it he thinks he wants me dead? Or maybe he doesn't. And maybe he's seen some of his content, and then maybe we don't have a gang beef. We don't. That's good. Because why is it that Guy thinks, well, he is my dad, and he's trying to have his hand at power. And you, men in British Columbia, don't own any people. So, why the fuck does it matter where I do my content creation? Because I've been on here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. And some people didn't see it coming last year when I was at 2255 Middle Suite. But Bri didn't see it coming when I was at 2255 Middle Suite upstairs when I was doing a great job doing the same thing. But simply put, I was selling weed when I was up there in the top floor. Only. And that's it. And the landlady was awesome. She was awesome. And Sydney was one of the people that was banging on the fucking window at that place, and she got me kicked out because it wasn't the firemen, because there was an odd smell in that fucking place, and I can't blame the firemen. They probably couldn't detect it because George Swayze, believe it or not, he's a neo-Nazi, and he was simply pumping shit in that suite upstairs through the vents with a vacuum cleaner backwards, and that can't be proven, but that sounds suspicious, but that's what he was doing. Or he was smoking fentanyl in the fucking bathroom, because I'm not going to say anything, but and the landlady was awesome, and she never did me any wrong, and she asked me to leave, and I left, and I could squat there too, but I'm not going to squat there, because I don't live there anymore, but Preston Swayze lives there. He probably pays his rent, and it's a show of force for them, because that Ford that was parked there, the blue Ford, was my grandmother. She got her, Shirley Hayden bought it brand new off the lot in Summers in Vancouver, and she didn't buy it off the lot in South Cameras. Nope. And it was a Ford Focus. I believe she left that there for Sherry. So Sherry gifted it to me, and that car is mine. And it is. It's in my name. And it's sitting on the back of the property, facing west, pointing west. And there's nobody in it, but the spirit of my grandmother's there. It's a Ford Focus. And we'll have to focus on a man wanting the 80 Plus Club. The only one that's not in there is Mr. Bacon in California. The one man, because he's a fucking no good. And, well, I didn't say anything about anybody but him, but, well, I'm still okay. Because I haven't killed nobody, ever, never once. And that man drives people to want people to die. And this man here just thinks he's going to get chipped by who? Clifford or Ifford? Because Ifford's sleeping now. And keep one eye open when he's sleeping, does he? And, and the light's green. Look. That didn't work before. And I didn't put those stickers on there. I didn't. So, those are put on there because they ain't bringing back Satan's Angels. No, they are not. And Steve and Adam don't run a fucking thing in British Columbia. So why is that green all of a sudden? It never was green before. It picked up a signal. I just didn't notice it. Because that is simply one of those. And, well, I just found it. Well, it's from a interesting bag, and I lost that somewhere in Valley View when I was sleeping in the car there. I slept in the car there. Well, it was an open window. I jumped in there and slept in the car. And I got a flu coming down. I'm coming down with a flu. And somebody, Montana's sleeping. She's sleeping, and that's okay. Montana needs her rest. And I can care about Montana without dating her. I can do that as a man. Because nobody's ever heard of a gorilla pimp before. Because it's somebody that cares about a woman without dating her and doesn't want her to prostitute anymore. But somebody seems to think she's allowed to do whatever she wants because she's someone's great-granddaughter. And he's actually coming around on loving her. Because he can love his great-granddaughter and not hate the First Nations. And you remember what he did for you? Well, he did for you and not for me. Because somebody is allowed on First Nations land when he probably shouldn't go out there. And he doesn't. One place I've never been with Guy is on First Nations land. Other than the Tim Hortons, or you drove through to go to Grandma's. And Grandma don't live on Ottawa Place no more. And she lived on Ottawa Place since the 70s, early 70s, and she passed away in 2022. 1 month exactly did Wayne pass away. 1 month exactly. And he timed it. He was a master strategist. And he simply didn't use it in organized crime. Or did he? Well, I don't know. We never talked organized crime once, except for when I made a bad joke. But it was just a joke for Wayne Astle to get the alarm bells going because it made it back to the place I know it made it back to because I knew it would because that was Wayne Astle's way of telling his buddies, and it's not true. It's not true because it's an inside joke for men that only know. And I have to tell it now because it's on content creation. And Wayne Astle he must have thought I was a Hells Angel because I was never a Hells Angel, and I'm not a hangaround or a nomad or a prospect. I'm none of them, respectfully. I'm not. And well, he said something about a stripper having a tramp stamp or something. Because some women have Hells Angels tattooed on them. They want to. That's up to them. Usually not forced. They decide to do it because that's something they do. But I don't think they are actually owned by the club unless they want to be owned by the club. But that's their club, and I don't know because he said something about it. And I said quickly, no, I got a tattoo on my nutsack, like something to do with the Russian. And I said it quickly, and his eyes lit up. He couldn't believe he couldn't believe himself. There's no tattoo on my nutsack. I've been right here in cameras. And that's something they had to do when they lived, or when there was something called the Gulag, and they couldn't speak about it because they didn't know who was a spy, but they actually had to use their ears to listen because they didn't know who a fucking spy was because Wayne Astle used his eyes and ears. And he only had one mouth, and he used that for talking. But he politicked with men in his age group, the 80s. And I seen him once at McDonald's when I was there reading a book. Seen him twice there, Shantarantam, I think it was. And it was a good book. But in India, the country of India, they know how to do organized crime. I read about this in India. Or no, at this book. In this book, if you read it, it says something about Indian mafia. And they call themselves different names, but that's in Hindi or Punjabi. They speak a different language in India. I think Prime Minister Modi, I don't speak for him, but I don't know him personally. It's just Modi and Cody rhyme, and that's all it is. And it's an interesting thing because I had that thought once in Super Savon in Valley View. And that's all I know about him. That's all I know. But he means nobody in Canada any harm. I'm sure, I don't think, I can't speak for him, but I'm sure he doesn't. So if there's a colonial dispute going on, it's simply a man in Lower Sahali and Mr. Bacon. They have a strategy. And whatever that is, they keep a closed book. Because if Mr. Bacon moves again, I win again. And well, his brother isn't the problem. Because I don't know nothing. And but this is simply probably why the Russian mafia survived Joseph Stalin, and he was a historically great man. And I don't know what he sounded like when he was yelling at people, but I don't think anybody ever made a recording of it because he hated spies probably as much as I do. But I don't hate the real spies. I hate what they call as the broad in a spy room, because simply put, that would hurt under anybody's nostrils, and they fear, man, because he thinks he's gonna get me in trouble after I leave here, because he doesn't understand anything at all, because he's simply from Ontario, and he had a rap sheet out there, not out here though. He's been pretty clever out here, because he simply has a clever disguise, or he's just somebody that's allowed to do something, and I'm not. Well, why the fuck not? Yeah, she was here. She got mad at me. That's a lover's quarrel. Why the fuck wouldn't I be allowed to pimp? Because the women love me. They do. And how many more women need to be strong arm pimped in British Columbia? Because simply they just take their fucking IDs now, and they just take their passports, and that's somebody's play in fucking California, Mr. Bacon, and he does that. But he doesn't do it to any of his children. No, he wouldn't do that. And well, I don't do violence. He doesn't do violence either. He just yells at people on the cell phone. 778-694-8893. Mr. Bacon in California. And that's the one who's all legit. And he's not calling me, because that's a show of force from me to him. And my line ain't tapped. And if it was, just say hello. I'd love to hear your voice. He's having bad dreams too. Cliff just had another one. And I don't stalk prey. I don't, because I'm a human being. That would be not right. And I'm a man that has a territorial dispute going on with a mountain lion and a brown bear. Because I do. The brown bear I respect, because I think he was running with me. The fucking mountain lion made me tuck tail and walk to my left and over a fence when he had my back. He was watching me. He could see at night probably a lot better than I can. I didn't see him. He was right out of the dark, and he was on the fence line in the property where that lumber came from. So maybe it was karma getting me. Maybe it was, but that was a mountain lion that charged me, and he made his feet. He was on hard packed snow, and he made his feet sound like he was lighter. This is not a coyote. They hear a person in the bush, they go the other way. It was not a bear. No, it was a mountain lion. It must have been a little younger, but this is a mountain lion, and he charged me. And I turned towards him, and he stopped. And Simba was on the property. Simba's here. He's a feline, and he's a male. And well, that's one of my proudest moments, because I didn't even panic. I simply didn't panic. Like when these two men jumped or they broke the window and went on the RV, I didn't panic. I grabbed them by the scruff of the neck, and they swung away. And well, I wasn't scared then, and I was the one that told them that you guys better go, because the cops were probably going to be there quickly, because the neighbor heard the glass break, and they just got away. And if one was arrested, well, I don't fucking know. I thought I heard him yelling down at City South, but I didn't do nothing because I kept my fucking mouth shut. And because Montana lied about it. She did. She lied to her fucking teeth, and she doesn't need anything except dentures, and she can afford it. I offered to buy them for her, and she's sleeping. And I love her still, but I'm not head over heels in love with her. I'm not. I care about her. And that's simply put, because Sydney tried a little strong arm tactic over Kelsey this past summer. And where's Josh in all this? Because Josh, I haven't forgot about Josh. And no, I haven't. And Josh thought I forgot about him. And no, I haven't forgot about Josh, because Josh and me are buddies now. And Sydney is not doing what she did in town again without me knowing about it. So when she's done being somebody else's friend, you want to call me? Because you're not getting away from me on this one. Me and your dad are furious with you. Because you're supposed to have your passport. And where'd that go?
Come here, save me,
And,
I'm coming in.
no, I don't do violence. My right-hand man was supposed to be Christopher Gregoire. But he fouled that up when he got himself popped in 07. That's when he stopped being my right-hand man. And I don't know what he's been up to. But people, they want to fear him. And he fears me and his dad. And he fears one of us more than the other. Probably his dad. Because that's his dad and not mine. I've never met the man. So, and I haven't. And, well, that's true. And I respect him. Well, my dad's a respected man too. But I respect him more than my dad because he's a military-minded man. And he's probably retired or closing in on retirement because he's probably around the baby boomer age. And I still respect my dad, but he was a trucker for 20 years, and nobody ever proven anything on him. So I love my dad because he's a trucker, and I'm proud of him for being a trucker. And don't worry, Dad, just don't drink the fucking water because Mom gave me. I had a sip of that, or one glass of it, and Mom's been poisoning both of us because she wants one of us dead because she thinks we're endangering Chrissy. Chrissy is the one that drugged Brett, Mom. So she's not watching this one because she probably was sleeping. Dad maybe found it, maybe they didn't, but she drugged Brett, and I figured that out. And that was somebody's father, and I know because that was my brother. Different mom, I know different dad, but you still have a grandpa and Guy, Chase, you do. Because he's a grandpa to Tyler and Matthew, but he doesn't message them at all. But they can message Grandpa Guy, because he's their grandpa, but their real dad there is Mike Grimm, and he's a fucking no good, not worth knowing. He's still alive, but not by much. And Chrissy never told him. And she doesn't want to tell him that she's still meeting him. And why the fuck would she be meeting him? I don't know, and I don't want to know. Because if it's at a hotel alone, well, somebody in Surrey doesn't get to use that as blackmail on me because it embarrasses Chrissy and not me because I'm ahead of it. So Crystal Ann is out of her fucking mind, and she is. She should go to a psych ward. And Matthew is doing content creation and I'm happy for him. And he's making some money. And good. And Tyler didn't know that. And Tyler simply, I haven't seen him in a long time, and that's the last time I've seen it. And I do content creation now. And I'm getting away with murder? No, I'm not going to commit murder. Because you don't like how women are. The women take their ID and they just force them to do whatever the fuck they want. They turn them into spies. And it's incredible because the spy room was developed around me. How many of them are built? I don't fucking know. Could be thousands of them. Because the spies in the Hells Angels are all women. And they all know me better than they know their old men. And they knew Ralph because they knew who Ralph was. Well, they knew how he had controlled his part of the fucking club. Because he was a powerful man, but he was in a fight for power in and amongst the Hells Angels since probably the 60s. Because the Soviets got involved then, and they were fighting him for power. And Ralph's gone in 2022. And Ralph was a great leader. I knew that from his picture in Hells Angels at War. But he's gone in 2022. And that's Ralph Barger, the man who created the Hells Angels. So I'm an organized crime historian. Maybe not the best of them, because you can't get that at that degree anywhere in the world. So the spy room was developed around me. And I don't know why, because maybe I'm a genius. And maybe I am. And so I have a man here that's a smart man, and he thinks I'm just going to get into trouble. Well, I'm not in any fucking trouble, because the only problem I have is that he is forgetting something. He's on something called something that just brainwashing you. Don't have to get mad or nothing, because it'll wear off. Just don't drink the water out of the jug. Drink it out of the reverse osmosis system. His mom keeps putting something in there. I drank one small cup of it, and Dad's been drinking it for years. Because Dad, he's trying to brainwash you in California, and I'm not going to be shot by police because they would have no reason to shoot me. This is a goddamn torch. And somebody in California is Mr. Bacon's using brainwash on him, and he's just passed you along to one of his sons, or he hasn't yet, because he's got men that want to take his position when he passes away. Well, who knows which one, because I don't know how many sons he's got. I'm not going to start insulting his family because I don't have anything bad to say about anybody but him and Mr. Bacon. Me and you don't like each other. You're trying to fight for power in a magical world where power doesn't exist. Because you're playing ass grab with the wrong fucking woman. And that's Elizabeth II. She passed away in September of 2022. And you ain't playing ass grab with that woman. So you better fuck right off. So, because he's having bad dreams. and so is Cliff. And Dad's not having nightmares. He's not. He sleeps peacefully. So, well, Tyler could probably lend me a couple grand or rent me a place on the North Shore by now. If he wanted to. I'd have to ask him. But when I asked Guy for his number, he wouldn't give it to me. So what the fuck is Guy doing pretending to be his grandfather? Because that's all Tyler knows is his grandpa is Guy. And he is, but he don't keep in touch. So what the fuck is Guy doing saying he's even my relative? Because he is my dad. And that's what he knows. And well, I can go back to the B suite anytime I want. But I'm simply sitting here because somebody else thinks she was here. And well, she's not here anymore. Because I don't like that either. It's a hoodie. I don't have a shirt on. I gotta do my laundry, and it's still sitting on the back deck. Well, why didn't she grab it? Because she was in the car, and she enjoyed getting a drive from one place to another. She was here. Dad hasn't checked the surveillance footage yet, because it's on the internet. And somebody hacked the fucking code, and we haven't changed the password yet. Well, Dad hasn't, and he's on shit that my mom put in the water jug. And she's not. I don't even keep food in my fridge anymore. Because she tried poisoning me the other day, and I simply went through it. She's a poisoner. She thinks somebody's out to hurt her firstborn. She doesn't understand a fucking thing about poisoning. Because her firstborn is the problem in our relative list. And nobody gets to say what I do. Because when it's Hayden family business, it's just me. And that's the bottom line. And Uncle Rick can sleep through it because he's sleeping. And that's the father of 4 sons. And I don't know any of them personally. None of them. So it's none of their fucking business. And you know how hard Preston's going to have? You know how hard it's going to be for him to get a contract in Kelowna next year? Well, he's not moving out to Kamloops. No, he isn't. Because I'm in a small business license situation. I can sell jewelry and I can sell crafts. Because my mother doesn't hate me. You wouldn't open the door in there, Guy. Need some time to cool off. Take some Kool-Aid and enjoy a fruit punch. Because I'm not going to piss off anybody in the goddamn penthouse suite because I've never been up there. Clayton looks, he see me, and you're looking at the kid. Well, I'm going cross-eyed, but not really, because I keep looking at myself in the camera. I don't want to go evil. And I'm not going evil. I'm getting off the map. I don't do the shit that much when I'm content creating, so, and the Abilify's wearing on, I got a goddamn flu because I fucking have a flu, or cold, and I don't want to spend any money because I got $360 left. I could go get my taxes done, and I'd have maybe $800-900, but there goes the hard work on the line. Well, why the fuck do I build a line for 21 years when somebody just databases all the fucking clients from California, Mr. Bacon does, and why does he just decide one day I can and I can't? Because he's decided again he wants me dead, or I've got him outfoxed, and maybe I do. Because he's gonna call a man that he had in his employ and ask, just to see how he's doing. Maybe he should. That would be good because you used to trust him until, well, he thought something was funny in the same room as you, and I don't know him from a hole in the ground, because that's his saying, and I would never want him hurt, and I'm just saying. And I'm just saying, no, that's my head's itchy. My ear's itchy. And, oh, that's the same briefcase. And And I'm just saying that I'm giving Cliff Coughlin bad dreams. That's a given. He can't sleep. He wants to sleep. Well, don't go to sleep then, Cliff. And then I'm giving Mr. Bacon California. He's having nightmares. But he's a man I respect because he's a veteran. I respect that. And how did I slam a door hard enough to break a fucking window? It's not possible. Or is it? Well, somebody might want to show me how that's possible. Because the kid, as Jumbo called me, he's got a gift. And I'm a fucking street fighter to be feared. And somebody else was a fighter too. And he probably got into some fights. And he did. And I don't know the half of it. And I don't. So. No, this is a book. This is my passport, and it's mine. It's in my name, gentlemen. Okay. There's an issue I had here. Sydney is not running around town playing she got pimped by her boyfriend, or they're not dating. She wouldn't date him. So we're in an open relationship, or it's a lover's quarrel, or one of the two, because she's not gonna get to do whatever she wants like she did because she simply. Well, that's interesting.
I've started my own production company.
That's got some up to it.
Because,
well, I could make a goddamn new phone, and I'm not worried about it because it's simply a SIM card that's legitimate because it was probably bought elsewhere in a different town.
in other words,
And when I go to the when I had money in my pocket enough to get a cell phone, I had to get on a certain cell phone, and I'm not asking for any help at all because I'm fine and I'm sane because I simply I'm on content creation 24 hours a day, and I didn't say anything about. Now what time is it? It's 08:11, and my password is private because it just gets me on this particular phone. And I'm trying to call somebody who I care about because she's supposed to be at an RV. That's where her dad knows she's supposed to be because he gave her her passport. And where's that passport now? Or did you take it with you? You were drinking vodka. You're not sure what you did. So why are you watching at Camel's place? You're not. You're somewhere else. How do I know you're there? Because you knew I was there last night. And Montana's safe and sound because nobody would hurt a hair on her head. Nobody would, because nobody does. But she's been hit before, and I forgive the man who did it because me and him shared one moment in the RV there. We both fell asleep at the same time, and we weren't in jail. And he didn't steal nothing from me. I didn't steal nothing from him. And I forgave him because it happened a long time ago. And Montana pushes men to the absolute limit, till they fucking snap. And I never hit her. I poked her in the boob once. I poked her in the leg. I gave her a bear hug. I didn't hit her ever. I never did. She beat me up 4 times. Well, that's a random number, so I'm not picking that up. Fake call center again. So, well, we're back to square one. Because someone's realized you can't kill me because I'm connected. I have an internet connection that says connected. And nobody knows how I politic well. And Sydney simply doesn't have a phone anymore. And the man who maybe took it is still here. He's playing on his cell phone. And he knows I won't lay hands on him because he's hoping that, well, am I back in my ears and shit? And it is. And nobody's doing anything for him because people are mad at him, not me. And, well, they are. And that's his problem. So, because this is an expensive briefcase in this day, and it's a rare thing. So I'm going to talk more about the briefcase because it makes me interested because My grandpa was a machinist. He retired out of Highland Valley Copper. And I'm not after his money or anything he left, because I'm not. And my dad should know I'm not after his money. So he's taking a stab at power with me as his. I'm his son and he's my dad. Okay, I understand. And he's found the content creation. He's found both accounts. And he's probably wondering why one's in his dear brother's name, because he was my dear uncle. And he was. And there's nothing that can be said about that because he was my uncle, period. And I'm your son, Guy. That's the bottom line, because I'm not Owen's son, because I'm not. So Chris is laughing right now because he thinks he's off the shit list. Chris Gregoire don't know what kind of shit he's in, because Chris Gregoire don't want to see that in his eyeball, because it's not a fucking video game, Chris. And so now that we've said that, I'll stop insulting the old man, because I'm not after his money, and he's got to know one thing. That not everything you see on TV is true, Guy. And you've been couch surfing, and I've been working. So don't be getting too mad when I want to do laundry, because I got to drive out there and get it and bring it back to a laundromat. Because you didn't open the door yesterday, and you were mad at me. I understand that. So don't blame Mom. She wasn't there for the argument. And so this briefcase came from Wayne Astle. How did I get it? Well, from a friend. And it's none of anybody's business who gave it to me. She may have found the content creation, she may not have. It simply shows me one thing, that Grandpa Wayne was smart. He had some theories, and there's a cross in there, and that's because he believed in the Christians, and maybe not in the Catholics. But believe me, Grandpa Wayne is not, his voice is not unheard. And, 2024 years, the holy men are here. So they're there at the Vatican, and they'll be here in another 2024 years. I guarantee that. And there's no fucking way they're not going to be, because they're going to be here in 2024 years. And that's the bottom line. They've survived centuries before. And this one's the internet era. And it is. And I got on a dial-up connection somewhere at Sherry and Guy's place. And it's true. And I'm a proud pro-government whistleblower, because I'm pro-government. And I am. But I'm not anti-mafia in any way. I'm not. So this Das Kulik came from Wayne Astle, and it did. How did I get it? Dad might be wondering. From a friend in town. The source, not really. She's a friend. She wanted me to have it. Came to me by way of a friend. And only Kamloops people could find that out, because nobody knows except her. And I wouldn't tell on her at all. My name is Cody, and I love myself. And I'm going to torch my ear off, because this guy's not going to give me my girlfriend's passport or her phone. He thinks it's a fun and games.
No, she's got one with her.
Oh, she's got him with her. But where's her phone? She doesn't answer it. So, well, I guess I'll stay here until she shows up.
Yeah, that's cool.
She's probably getting hungry. And somebody could feed her. And somebody's brother doesn't fucking matter in the equation. Because he tried to have me clipped the other day through New York. Or is he thinking about that? You mentioned something about me out there? Or he mentioned something about he called someone in Vancouver. Said the kid was lipping off a biker. And I didn't know it was him. And I didn't know it was him. And they look similar, but they don't talk. And and Sydney is wonderful, and she knows I would hurt, and she knows me, and she knows somebody else, and she knows somebody else. And Sydney is simply stuck, because I'm not leaving, because Anthony lets her get away with anything, and somebody over there doesn't let her get away with anything. She was there last night sleeping. She didn't want to be seen around two lovely women, Amber and a different lady. So they were both First Nation. And
And I'm
we had a good
obsessed
time.
with this girl.
And there was another woman there in the bathroom.
Going out with my best friend.
Was there? No, there's two women there. I know there's two women there, but
Is
well,
there
I know
one
someone
thing
was
you
laying
want
on a
to
bed
talk
hiding,
about?
and she was under a blanket, but she was very comfortable when we were at night in a Monte Carlo. And it's not a Res Rocket, no. It's not a beater. It's not a hoopty. It's my precious car. And I'm just saying that when there was a ride in Vancouver, I was at Colony Farms. I was in there. It happened when, you know, Vancouver didn't win the Stanley Cup from, well, trivia. And I was at Colony Farms then. Yeah, I was there. Then I was released. And I'm still sitting on the chair here. This is still Wayne Assel's briefcase. So I'm trying to solve this thing. And people are probably watching it. Well, that's not from snorting junk. No, that's from a cold. And
How serious
well,
this is.
that's the phone getting a container. And I can do that again. I can do it in private. Because privacy laws are very important. And I would say exactly this here is mine. I bought it. Where is it? Right there. I bought it. This is mine. I bought it from, I can't remember where. It's not high end, but there's a certain way you can tie this. Because you can tie it a certain way. Because if people were trying to, you know, spy on you, you tie it a certain way and you know it's not spied on. Or if you lock an office, you know. And I'm just simply not in the mood to make any content. Because, well, it's a weekday, I know that. I'm just simply wondering why Sydney hasn't called yet. Somebody else has a phone. And she thinks she's gonna outsmart her dad and me. And then there's a guy who's proud to have you on his property and mom's property. Mom's property surely gave him the money, or her the money to get the place. And let's not forget about that, Keith. And well, there's some numbers in there. And I'm just trying to settle the score because he just didn't open the door. He still loves his son. And someone in California called Mr. Bacon is telling him that he doesn't. He's using invasive telekinetics on my dad because he's got. It's not gonna kill you, D. Whatever's in the watering jug isn't gonna kill you. Mom puts it there because she thinks she's being cut out of her end of your inheritance. Because Wayne Assel left it as a test to you and to see what you would do with it. And me and Wayne Assel were thick as thieves. And AO 1051100 and Cody Hayden C Hayden 10 at i.bcit.ca. I was there once. This is what I was writing the notes on when I was at BCIT, and I planned a trip through Ticket, Cebu, Manila, Bangkok. I went there, planned to Taipei. I didn't pay for that flight because I never went. And don't spend less than $3 on a hostel. That's just a joke to myself, probably. Cause I don't know anything. And CESA 0158 BCIT. Introduction to Solar Electricity. I'm just taking Anthony through something from the past, because Anthony's not a fucking genius, and he isn't. He's just someone who likes to have sex for free, and he's a strong arm pimp. Oh, she doesn't get strong arm pimp. No, because she gives it out for free to the pimps. And I didn't know that. And tell me something I don't know. And somebody's taken back by that. I knew that was you hiding under a fucking blanket somewhere, and I'm not mad at the man's house. He takes her in. And he's more like a father figure to you. And I didn't think about that. And I know that. And she's taken back by Sydney. You have a tattoo on your back. You don't honor that. Did you look at it? Because you don't honor it. And you're only, 25? And you want to run my good name through the dirt again. What did you do at 2255 Middle Street? Well, I know you were sleeping with somebody. It wasn't the neighbor. Or the one in the basement next door. You slept with him. And you forgot about that. And I'm not mad at you. But who picked you up from Valley? I used to live in Valley View. It's got nothing to do with Valdek Sincevich at all. Because he simply raped Sydney. And he did it with his son. And, well, she doesn't have to be spared because I'm after revenge on Valik big time. Valinsky, no Slinky, and he's got a problem and he's mad, is he? Because he's what I'm in there. The care and kindness of this man, he doesn't want me here. He's not asking me to leave because I'm content creating. And what I write down there? Software, system advisor model on grid, off grid, equal, Homer. I don't know what that, I don't know. I'm really trying to read my own notes, figuring them out, because I don't know. There's some names of some companies, and I don't know what I was thinking then, because my brain works a certain way. When I'm not using this stuff, I just forget about it until I go back to the books. I did get 95% in a course, or 97, because that's a word, and that's all it is, and I know that. He moved all the way to Calgary from Calgary because he got a job and he wanted me to tell me there's 18 ways to skin a cat, and that was Kevin B. And there's 19 ways to skin a cat. I'm not threatening him. There's just 19 ways to skin a cat. Facebook, first account. Raised around the mountain. October 22nd, 17. Vision ground 21. Sunny Island inverter. Micro hydro post cost efficient. Times down. I got one of those somewhere. I do. And she knows what that is. And she's seen it. But that could generate electricity, Sydney, because you'll be living in a fucking tent in the bush. Because the only two men, this guy here, he doesn't know where you are. Because he took your phone and your passport. And you think he's going to come back here and go back and forth? Well, how are you going to go anyways too fast if I want to go there and see it? Because you're caught in the act. And Camel, he likes me. So, and I know that already. I'm not mad at Camel. Because he's a good man. And, well, he's a good man. And that's all there is to it. And, well. And what else is it? 4 kilowatt hours a day. And, well, I see I went to this at BCIT. And,
I'm sorry?
well, there's engineers that came from Dallas Elementary. Good for them. I'm in good with them? Well, I am not in the bad books, but there's simply a realtor that came from Dallas Elementary, and he never graduated. He got it done at school. Or he got it done online. He still graduated. And I'm proud of him for that. Because people are hanging on every word, and this is simply one of my old notebooks. Wait till I get into the good stuff. Because Chrissy keeps thinking the search and seizure one because she's simply brainwashed by somebody in California. And Mr. California there, he's not Mr. California at all. So he's going to have to stop brainwashing Crystal Ann because he's been brainwashing her since he forced her to drug Brett or gave her the idea. Or she just drugged Brett in Stevenson, where Steve used to live. Steve used to drive a Pontiac, a GMC, or a different car. I know what it was. I can't remember. And, because I was there, and it was purple, red, or different Alero. And I owned one in Camus that was green, 4-door, similar car. Sold it to Jeff, but he knew the brakes weren't good on it. And it wasn't the same Jeff that he's thinking of. And he's trying to think if he needs to kill me or not. Why would Jeff kill me? Because he doesn't know why I'm still in it either. There must be a reason, and I'm not looking at anybody in politics. I'm opening up what do we have here? Oh, this here is interesting. Because
in fact, they've been very supportive through all this.
We were having a hard time, but
who wrote this? Because I haven't looked at this yet. This is interesting. Because, well, Sherry and Guy have been trying to axe me out of my inheritance. But, well, they haven't took me out to will yet, but they do try and poison me. And, constantly. And Guy knows that. But I still have my driver's license number, 8088324. And that's my number, because it belongs to me. 742-713-357. Not quite like the Parallel kind, but close. Because somebody's got gas. You should say, excuse me. Because, well,
They're professional.
As far as I know.
They can help you and raise it.
Let me see here.
Can't.
I never checked this. I don't sign the regis. Because where's the same? Oh, there it is. Owner. Hayden Cody Shaw. There's no Edward, so I'm not a king. Nope. I'm a secretive man. And I didn't notice it. There's a thing that I can call. Did Sherry make a mistake? Because Sherry made a mistake and she can't remember what it is. Yeah. She made a mistake, but nobody knows. Because Guy's trying to cut you out of your inheritance. And you know that. Because he doesn't have you on the house anymore. He's thinking about talking to a lawyer about getting you off the house. He can't. You're common law. And my mom's common law with my dad. If I know anything, he can't kick her out of that house. That's her house. Shirley Hayden gave her money. She found a banker out of a secret city, because that's her business. And that's because they're goose and gander. And Dad, nobody's trying to ruin you. You're trying to just simply, you love your son, and I love you, Dad. And we had an argument. That's all that's happened. That's it. That's all it is. And I'm not leaving until Sydney shows up. So it's going to be a long fucking stay, and I can do content for hours. And this man here is in a bad situation, but not really. He knows me. We're friends. But when I'm not here, he likes to talk shit. And somebody was drinking vodka earlier, and she got nowhere else to go because she can visit Dad, but only if I drive her, because I've been there twice. I didn't park in the driveway the first time. I only parked in the driveway the second time because I picked him up. Picked her up, sorry. I didn't pick up her father. But she's not getting the message. And she doesn't sleep with these men. She doesn't. Because I got parched. I need some more Fanta. I need some water. Well, Mom made a mistake. Or she wanted me to find it. And she's common on with Guy. And I know that, Mom. You gifted me that car because it's not his. And the property is always Mom's. Because there's a man in prison that was called Mom's, and he's in prison because he got caught for something. And that's in the Hells Angels at War book. And that man probably likes me a far sight better than Ron, and not as much as Robin, because Robin was the good man in those two brothers' lives. And he simply, as I understand, has passed away. And, well, I met him once or more than once, because he was he was up the road. If I was on Garrett Road, I'm not there anymore. I'm simply in town in Kamloops. And he used to stay on Garrett Road, as I understand. He was on probably vacation. He never told me what his job was. I never asked him. I never asked him what his job was because he was probably on vacation. And I never seen him and his brother Ron in the same room twice. Because I never did. I never seen him in the same room once. I never did. And Ron was a powerful man, and I never gave him my back once. And because I saw him and he was happy once. And I was riding up the road on a hog, and I was riding my hog, and he was riding in his truck, and it was right at John Taylor's. And organized crime's the son of a gun, because you blink 1 second at 300 fucking yards. Oh, he could be gone. Anybody could be. And Cliff Coughlin isn't having fucking nightmares about me. He's having nightmares about rattlesnakes. And that's rattlesnake country. And you guys don't hike up there without a fucking gun. I go hiking anywhere in this province during the day. I live. I can't fucking tell you that. I hike without a gun all the fucking time, without anybody bothering me except a mountain lion and a brown bear. I'll tell you that brown bear, I seen his back line. That's a big, big brown bear. And he wasn't running at me. He was running with me. So I tricked him. And he only came out of the bush because there was a fucking striker there to kill me. And my mother warned me of that. And simply put, she's on brainwashed with somebody that loves her, but not as much as her own fucking children. And or maybe she does love her, or maybe they do. But they don't love me. Because why would they? I don't do nothing but protect them. without him being in the room. Jesus H. Christ.
College, I wouldn't have a good job.
And I would never do that. He's just on some stuff that makes him think he's very powerful, and he's a powerful man in his own right.
Hey, MTV, welcome to my crib.
His car is in my name.
Which means I could probably get the class.
He is common law with my mother.
And I end up
And
working
that's a fact.
in a place like this for the rest of my
My
life.
dad is my dad. So
So, what would happen if I didn't get in?
this is a good
I don't
good
know.
company. Nobody knows, Mom. Because he wanted it as a message to me in case anything happens to Dad. Because they're after
Friends.
your guys' estate, your things, and everything in the middle. And I won't let that happen. For $1 million a day, nobody's going on that fucking property for nothing. The RCMP only show up there if you guys call them. And Ma, you called him last, but I don't blame you for it. Because I said I wanted to go with you. I don't want to fight you, Ma, or sleep with you. It was simply because you were stealing something out of my RV. And you don't do that anymore. So this is good. We're making progress as a family. And as a relatives, they're my mom and dad. They're not part of my business because I am Hayden family business, and that's it. And there's a man in Kelowna called Preston. I could give up what he thinks because he can go himself, and I'll go tell him that. But I don't feel like driving to Kelowna and trying to find him. He hasn't come by to drop off a fucking cup of coffee for my mother not once. And I won't get him started about how much he fears Guy, because they fear him. And he likes me, because I protect that property just as good as you do. And when I'm in town working, well then I'm working. So don't look at somebody like you were looking at her because Sydney is in an open relationship, or is it a lover's quarrel? Well, I don't know. But someone over here isn't bothering me any. I'm not leaving until I get a phone call from her. And well, I'm not saying anything because somebody's fed up with who? Me talking on the internet. Who's that? Downtown Doug? Nope, not Downtown Doug. He's passed away in 2020. And I know that. I met Downtown Doug once. I only met him once. He was a pot dealer. He only sold pot. He was kind of like me from 2010 to 2013. I only sold pot until I got lazy and I faked the coke addiction issue because it's a shameful thing to be addicted to coke. It is, but I'm not ashamed of it. So somebody that I know doesn't do cocaine, and that's Montana. She simply was down to a point or two a day, and that's when we dated. And Sydney, you love me, and I love you. And I'm not in love with Montana right now. How could I be? She just fucking framed me up down there, put me in the clank, well, the detainment, and and hey, she almost framed me up, and she simply is a lovely person because she did do something like get rid of a goddamn near serial killer. She got out of it somehow. She told me the story. And Montana is a power. She's not powerful. She's got a powerful family member, and a very powerful one. And Sydney, you do too. Your dad cares about you, and so do I. But the man who has your passport is one of the two. And I'm looking at him. Well, where'd he put it? He's sure one thing. I won't lay hands on him. So I'm here, and we're friends. And everything's good. Because why wouldn't it be? Because somebody in Valley View doesn't have a fucking say in the world. Because well, there's a play and there's a play, and then there's a play for a play. And I mentioned two names. I don't mention two names for no reason. Because there's an interesting thing that happens in Kamloops when I have money. When I go to a fucking hotel that I have credit cards, and there's nobody in the parking lot, and then the attendant says, no vacancy at all the hotels. That happened twice because they have voice recognition software. In my name, no, it's against me. And that's turned off right now, I bet. But who's using that? Is it Mr. Doug or is it Mr. Doug? Doug. Because there's only one man that I know personally, and that's Doug the Hitman. He showed me a ring. He's a hitman. but he got that for killing for the club. And I met him once. He didn't sleep with mom, dad, but he's a feared man, and that's your buddy. And he wanted to teach me one lesson: don't sleep with married women. I haven't since. And so Mike is still living in the same house. I owe him an apology because 3 strikes is a rule in Texas, I think. And well, and I didn't because she simply should have known better because she's still cheating on you with Chris. And Chris knows it because he still does it because he thinks he can do whatever the fuck he wants. I did it as a show of force over whoever let Chris into the goddamn business of being a nomad. Because it was Cliff and Jason R that possessed him. And it was. And I'm sorry, Mike. I did it for the right reasons. And I did it once and Doug let me know not to do it again. And and that was it for me. And I haven't seen her since. And that was once in a spot where, oh, hey, Braden, remember get left somewhere with your boxers on? Because that got him off the heroin. And it did. And he didn't like that much. He didn't tell that story. Because we barely even beat him up. Chris G never told that story. Because how about Corey? Well, I was Corey, the man from the Call Girls. Corey is a wonderful person in Monty Lake. She has nothing to do with my alias for the Call Girls. I didn't rape one of them. Not one of them. That's obvious because I don't rape women. And well, Corey was me in Camas from around, in my 20s. I was single and I enjoyed sleeping with Call Girls. So what? That's my business. And whatever. It happened. And so what? And I'm just saying that. And Sydney is Riley, and Riley is not the life for Riley. No, she's not. Because she isn't the life for Riley. She's relaxed when she's not wanting. She's got a sex addiction problem, and she'd make a great person with her normal job. And simply put, she had a passport to show me that. Well, I let her into town, and she was back again today, and she simply is back in town because I can't hold her against her fucking will. But so I don't know what to say about it because I mean he's not the problem in that property, neither is mom. So and that's my dad. So I'm not the problem either. And so we're okay. But mom and dad don't have anything to do with my business. And that's paid family business. Sherry's a woman. She's not welcome to organized crime. And Doug was their dad in 2010. He was. He showed me the ring. And he did. And I got the message from Doug. And me and Doug don't have any problems. So. And somebody thinks I should be killed. Why? Because I'm too influential? Well, I wouldn't dare think that. You're supposed to be an ally. You just don't talk much. And, well, I'm not an enemy to him because I'm a neutral party in the mafia business. This is a tough spot. And, not exactly something you tell people. And I stand in front of my dad at that property. Anybody shows up there that's not RCMP, well, I'll shoot him, and I'll have to bury him because I'm not doing manslaughter. So, and it hasn't happened yet. So, it's just, this is my password, you see? Because this here says me. That's me. What do I look like? Fucking spy? Well, I'm not a spy, but I look the same because I got different hair then. That's when I took it in Kelowna. And guess what? Because I wanted it rushed. So when I'm done pretending to be a spy, I look like a Russian sleeper spy there. I do. I look sad. My CPIC's even worse. I look real sad. But is that armor or is that a fucking hoodie? Well, that's the question. Because I still drew that neo-Nazi picture. And I ain't a neo-Nazi for $1,000 a day. I'm not a neo-Nazi. For $1 million a day? Probably not. That's not going to change. Because it's just a matter of, Sydney. She's funny. And I got my tagging sticks here. They're a paint pen. And what did I bring them? And I'm not a kid. I'm a fucking grown man. And Sydney isn't shit with me. But she knows I don't beat women. And I don't. And I don't beat women. But I don't. So she's aware of what happens to women who run from Syria for too long. And she's protected by her father from that nonsense. And it's not nonsense, it's serious. And I know what it is because I care about her. And, I didn't bring him. I didn't clean the idea up, and I gotta go make sure but he's got food, he's got water. I'm sure that Simba's sitting in his cage. He hasn't set up a peep since I've been here. He knows it's serious business right now. And, well, and, I know one thing. And if I know one thing, it's probably an interesting thing, but I don't need to bring it up because I've done it before, and I don't need it. I wasn't there, and I don't. It's all good. I'm just shifting myself. I don't like this goddamn hoodie like that either. I'm not a hood. This is a snowboarding coat, not the one I got from Jordan Botzell. No, similar looking. And, well, Mr. Botzell is a good man, Jordan is. Dylan's a good man too. I like them both. And Mr. Botzell's their dad, and he's in prison for life. He's a lifer. I know that because they both told me that. I know that. Are they okay? Because I'm a content creator now. They found this. One of them is probably in Kelowna, or one of them lives in somewhere in Alberta, where they make Arctic spas. Atolls, where they make them, I think. Unless he has a different job, I don't know. And, I still stand behind Tiana because she's a woman that's important to Jordan and to Jordan's father. And I still stand to what I did, Jordan. Because I did the right thing for a young lady because it's all about custody. And if you wanted it once in one day, that's as good as gold. And I would go to court for Jordan, him alone. And I would. And it wasn't an organized crime issue, so that's a fact. And I don't talk to police, Jordan. And that was because she laid hands on you, and I forgive her for it. And you have already. So you haven't talked to her since. Well, and he's looking at the window, and it's snowing out. I gotta change some tires. I can go get my taxes, but it'll take a week to get them. So, and how much are they gonna be? Well, he doesn't care about that. He couldn't care about that. See, if he cared how much fucking money I was getting for taxes, Mr. Bacon in California, well, he's a powerful man. How powerful is he? Well, he must be high powered. How much torque's he got? He ain't a goddamn freight train, and he ain't a goddamn boat. So, what's got more torque? Well, I don't drive either. And you don't drive them, you conduct them. And I don't know two conductors well. Well, I know one well, and the other one I don't like. And I know one, but I don't talk to him anymore. Seen him at the gym, and he's a good man. And if he's conducting well anymore, I have no fucking clue. Because if we don't keep in touch, and simply put, and that's the truth. Doesn't mean I don't like him. And that's alright. Because Jesse Anderson's a good man. And he's not in shit with me anymore. Because it's a simple loan that gets me a place on the North Shore. Well, I could pay him a little extra month, and he would be a landlord, but that'd be subletting. But hell, he's willing to take that chance on me because I always pay my fucking dues. And my dues are, well, I always pay my rent, always pay my rent. I've had plenty of landlords in town, and one thing I do is always pay my rent. Always. And I'm going snowboarding. Oh. I'm about ready to leave because somebody simply sent somewhere else. Well, what did you do at 2255 Middle Suite, Sydney? Something that I don't know about? Because you're not getting away with it that easily. You're simply running from the wrong man. You're running from Jason R., the fish. And he was there when I was sleeping, wasn't he? Chris was. He was. And Chris G., what'd you do at 2255 Middle Suite? You didn't rape me. Nope. You make a film or something about me? Something that you haven't released on the internet yet? Anything like that, Chris? Because Chris G's running from a beating that he won't make it out of. Because he's running from life in prison. Because he's a fish too. And there's always a bigger fish. And that's not a bad thing to be if you're a shark or a whale. No, that's ocean talk. And that's like from the ocean. And that's just an interesting thing because and it's a meteorite or a lava rock, and well, that's what it is, from probably Mount Peter or Mount Paul. It landed somewhere near there, rolled there, and stopped. And that's where that rock came from, if Ron was ever wondering, because it's probably still there. I haven't looked at it since I was there last. And Angel and Ocean are still friends. Or maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But that's between two people. Both are wonderful, and I would never even think it. I don't think that at all. Nope. If there's one, and it's Cyril and he's up by a lake, and I'm serious, I don't think like that at all. That's Valdic on point trying to say something. Because Valdic, oh, what a tough guy Valdic is. And let's talk more about Valdic, because he's a short man, shorter than me. And that doesn't mean he's not powerful. Nope. He's a man that was a KGB sleeper spy, deep cover mole. And he was. I found him. And I'm not giving up on Valdic. Because Valdic doesn't have the balls to go against anybody in this province. He won't call me. I called him a couple times. He told me to go fuck myself last time. And what I say is, I said something about the Soviet Union. And his son, I talked to him about a clone phone. And he said, "You know who I am?" And hung up. And I know Sydney was talking to him on my Snapchat. Because I'm clever. And Sydney has an area of influence with me. It's not like that, Sydney. You're in shit. And this is the business end of a crack pipe or a speed pipe. Well, depends what kind of business. I would never do that. And it's not good, kids. You should not be watching, even if it's 18 plus, for a reason. And I don't do no cheesing. And I don't know any words that rhyme with those two. Reason and treason. I don't know any other words. Maybe there's a reason for that. English is a wonderful language. And I ain't a goddamn criminal lawyer. I was going to be one once. But I simply went to one class, two courses. And psychology and sociology. What do I know about that? Nothing. I went to one class literally in both of them. And I didn't go any further. So I'm not a lawyer. So why is it still on here? Well, I must be gifted because I'm coming off the methamphetamine, and I am, because that's just simply a clean meth pipe, and I'm mad, and I'm not mad at anybody in general, except Crystal Ann for poisoning my brother, and I only had one brother, and that was not this man here. That's not in Christian High Court, so that doesn't even exist. But if he was, I'd ask him a question. Where's the fucking passport, and where's the fucking cell phone? But she doesn't have either.
She does. She's got them both.
You got them both?
Yeah.
She got her phone up. And she said,
That's it. She's got her phone off or it died or something. I don't know.
okay.
But she's got them both with her.
Cool down there. And I'm just thinking of some music. And I get in the way of Dog Man's intro. And they see he's homosexual. And he is. He's had his tailpipe bunged up there, Chris. I just was constipated. I had the best shit of my life. Well, I hadn't had shit in a week. And, because the one thing I ain't getting out of the Canadian government is stool softener. And this is the only dispute I have with the Canadian government. And it was through the ACT team. And would I go buy some stool softener? No, I won't. I'm holding my ground. And, well, I'm holding my ground. And ACT is my friend. And he likes to talk shit when I'm not here. Well, why wouldn't he? I'm not in the room. Well, this is a flip phone. And what network's that on? Well, who knows? Because I don't want anything, I don't know. There's only one internet. And the Americans created it out of California. And it was from professors in the school. And there's two men that look too much like me. That is almost impossible. And two men, my dad doesn't have a clue what I'm talking about. Not because he's not smart, he's very smart. Two men in Montreal that passed away from murder. And they look a lot like me when I was young. And then one professor looked a lot like my dad when he was that age. It's just a little bit suspicious. Because I don't know why it's so similar, but I only know from what I know from that book, Hell's Angels at War. And I think some of that was maybe not exactly true, but it was historically accurate as best as one man could write it. I simply think he's a man that was not liked by any Hell's Angels, but he's my favorite possible. Because he is. He wrote that book. I love that book. Because I took that book with Anarchist Cookbook and I gave holy hell fire to the Hells Angels. That's why they're called the Hells Angels, isn't it? Or no, they're at war. And what war is that? Well, they infight. They infight all over the world. But they think I'm clever, and they think I'm trying to get control. Well, I am. But I'm only getting control because I got a pass. And I'm only taking control if they bring me cash. And I don't want no grass, and I don't want no sea bass. Because I don't need no fucking tits and ass. I don't like getting sex because it's like the Mexican says, I don't know nothing. But I didn't sleep with Des, and Des, and Des. There's two Deses, and they're both lovely. One is a friend to me, and so is the other. And Ron is a brilliant man. And I wouldn't say what my master plan is, because nobody knows, because I ain't G.I. Dan. I didn't know a man named Dan, but somebody might have. I made it up, but I don't know anything about Vietnam because I wasn't there. And I'm not in the lair, and I got hair, and I don't care what I swear. And I'm a pear, and I'm not Lair the pear. That's not an insult, because I make good wine out of pears. And I don't need to give nobody no gray hairs, because he doesn't sleep in his underwear. So when he get a spare bag after him, because the coach is going to kill him faster than that woman does. And you get better sleep, but you're not there to protect mother. Nobody's coming out there.
Hi.
Yeah.
I just have
Ronnie got all the information for fucking the birth certificates.
That's right now. Where's that?
For birth certificates,
You going out for a while?
I gotta go for surgery.
Oh, you going to see? You want to ride over there? Yeah.
Ah, not yet, but maybe. They want me to try to be there by 10. But I gotta run upstairs before
If
I
you give me your
shit.
keys to get back in because I need a place to stay. I'm not going out all night.
Well, I gotta get one of them off them too. I don't have an extra key. I got one. The master key, I think. Whatever.
One that's I figure out it's not gonna have having a fairly
What's that?
have a fairly sleep problem.
Well, I don't want to get that at all. I don't want to get that at all. Yeah, I want to be here when I get back.
Well, every night,
So you see, she's got her phone and fucking birth certificate.
he's got it. You got a passport. You don't have it. So that's good. She has it, so I think he's gonna.
Yeah, unless she got her, fucking, she shut it off or fucking something. I don't know. Right, she's got it. She got this backpack. For her fucking passport. Can you pick your eyes out? I'm missing a silver pen. See that part? Is it up somewhere? It's like it's silver, and it's not different to silver, it's like silver like the metal.
You didn't mind the bag?
No, I'll be back in a sec. I gotta go take the battery out of the fire extinguisher.
Battery out of the fire extinguisher?
Or, battery out of the fire alarm.
You got your food?
Yeah, just couple screwdrivers. I don't know. Fucking around.
These have Go ahead. I'm still taking. I'm not trust ID. Yeah. Why'd you do parkour fast?
reason I have just do it. So you want to get any contact with this? I just feel it happen. What's that? I always like to have it ready. That's what I like. Anybody again, Mark? You guys got up, but I knew that. You say that. I'm so Forty percent. I okay. So anybody that's built up, right? And something that's not going to happen is somebody from the housing. There, he's still did left. People can, I think, looking at the camera. I don't even know. Because I'm a bad father? No, because I'm not a father at all. Because it's not good. Uh, Good